じゃあ先こっちかな。帰ってきてんのかな。
Welcome, dear.
I need to go.
Get out! Welcome.
I need to go.
Get out!
最
Stomping into
最
my
低
home
なお
like
ばあ
this.
さんや
But
ろ。
I'm here to see Shawnee.
Get out! What's he want? Say something.
Say something.
Does Shawnee live here?
Yes?
Yes, I'm from the hospital.
You can go upstairs. Just don't force yourself on the girl.
やっと入れた。ゴーレムみたいなおばあさんやな。おったおった。
Finally, you found me.
Looks like it.
How'd you get past the old hag?
That nice lady downstairs.
She's made my life hell.
そんなセクハラ発言すんなよ。
Old people are like that.
At least my rent is low. Doctors earn little in Temeria. Many leave.
You stayed.
Someone had to.
Anyway,
Yes?
点々点はないよ。
Shawnee,
I wanted to talk.
what is it?
Sometimes I dream about the Battle of Brenna, the massacre.
I'm sorry.
But that's it. I'm not sorry. I wake up refreshed and it's like I'm used to suffering. Does that make sense?
It does.
いや、
Thanks.
全然わからん。
Sometimes it's good to share.
Don't mention it. Shawnee, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
公園って誰？
I heard you saw Cohen shortly before he died.
That's right. How did you know?
I found his sword.
He died during the battle at Brenna, on my operating table.
You were a medic at Brenna?
I worked alongside a surgeon named Rusty,
ラ
best
スティ。
doctor I ever knew.
New?
He died when the Catriona plague erupted, in Maribor. Though a halfling, he could operate like no one else. He made everything seem simple. Stitch red to red, yellow to yellow, white to white, and everything will be all right. Ah, you wouldn't understand.
Sorry, Shawnee, I didn't know him. Do you know anything about this sword?
No, but you should ask the dwarf, Sultan Chive. His knowledge of weapons is unmatched.
ゾルタンと話せ。
Yes?
なんか痛いのか。
Shawnee, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I need your help with an autopsy.
An autopsy? Since when do you deal with stuff like that?
Since I started investigating Salamandra.
Okay, though, I'm no coroner. You'll have to interpret our findings. We'll meet in the evening. Until then, gather as many clues as possible.
I'll sniff around.
Get the body from the gravedigger. We'll meet at the hospital in the evening.
How do I find information to help the autopsy?
Ask Vincent Mice, but also look for books on anatomy and pathology.
Farewell.
なんかいろいろ出たな。死体を待っている間って。墓地に行く。ああ、今やったら入れるみたいやな。前確か入れへんかったよな。あれそっか、前もこうやったか。なんて言ってたっけな。検視の準備をする。経験者が本を読んで知識のある人の話を聞くべきだ。で、それはどこなの？わからんな。探偵さん、そこにずっとおって大丈夫なの？
Yes?
Do we really need to do this autopsy?
We can't move forward without it.
So what should I look for during the autopsy?
Examine the internal organs. Poison is in fashion, especially in marital disputes, and anyone can prepare deadly decoctions from ordinary herbs. Look closely at the liver for any signs of alchemy.
肝臓。
See you later.
今はまだ夕暮れやねんな。真夜中に来てってシャニが言ってたような。あったあった。
Yes?
おう。
Shani,
I wanted to talk.
what is it?
Sometimes I dream about the Battle of Brenna, the massacre.
I'm sorry.
But that's it. I'm not sorry. I wake up refreshed and it's like I'm used to suffering. Does that make sense?
It does.
Thanks. Sometimes it's good to
Oh.
share.
Don't mention it.
え、それだけ？
Yes?
あ、そっちで寝るんか。じゃあ今のうちに墓場に行けばいいんかな。ああ、閉まってる。とりあえずゾルタンと喋るか。
Witcher,
Zoltan Chive, good to see you.
you got inside the town okay? Plenty of work for a Witcher in Vizima.
It seems so. How did you manage to get in?
Nasty non-humans will always find a way to sneak into human homes.
True enough. Listen, Zoltan, I wanted to talk to you.
Yes?
What do you know about my silver sword?
What, me? A simple dwarf?
Shani insisted your knowledge of weapons is unequaled.
All right. Silver-plated blade. A steel cord.
あ、メッキなん
Suited
や。
to a two-handed grip. Decent workmanship, not perfect. I don't know runes for shit.
Thanks.
No problem.
Know anything about Vivaldi's bank?
Now it's only Vivaldi's by name.
How so?
New owners. Humans.
That explains a lot.
Really?
How are you doing?
Ever considered marriage, Geralt?
My profession's not exactly conducive to marriage. Infertility, incessant risk, travel. Not many women would agree to that.
You see, I'm having doubts.
Go on.
I haven't seen her for some time, and I'm getting jealous. She-dwarves are so desirable.
I suggest we drink heavily, if that doesn't help.
You mocking me?
I wouldn't dare.
Hardly something to laugh about.
Got a minute?
What's eating you?
なんだ哲学的な難題
I warn you, some philosophy's involved.
The meaning of life, eh?
The evil that witchers fight stems from chaos, from actions aimed at disturbing order. For where evil spreads, order cannot be established. Instead of the light of wisdom, the glimmer of hope, and the glow of warmth, darkness ensues. And in darkness you find nothing but blood, fangs, and claws. Like in the outskirts.
Nicely put, but as young Cero said to King Verdank on their first date, does it have any practical uses?
The right of witchers to live and function in this world has fallen out of balance.
何の
Because the
話
struggle
してん
between
の
good and evil now plays out on a different battlefield with different rules. Evil has ceased being chaotic. No longer a blind elemental power, evil follows rules according to the rights it's been granted. It functions in line with treaties.
That's progress. With more of us living longer, we can slaughter one another in the thousands. Progress is like a herd of pigs. The herd brings many benefits, but no one should wonder at all the shit.
Shit or no shit, witchers exist to slay monsters. How can I when the real monsters hide behind ideals, faith, or the law?
The biggest
それは確
evil
かにな。
is moral relativity, which kills more than the Catriona plague and dragons combined. Witchers will always be needed, no matter where that pig herd leads us.
Thanks, Sultan.
I hear Vivaldi's bankrupt.
It was expected.
Dealing with humans leads to ruin.
It forever rains stones on us dwarves.
Who'll run the gentry's books?
ビバルディはなんか知らんけど無罪みたいやな。
What brings you here?
I hope you recover your assets.
That bank has belonged to my family for ages, and now some human. You call this justice?
I've figured out Azar Javed's contacts.
Interesting.
Sorry I suspected you. I know you've lost control of your bank.
Kind to be so frank with a dwarf.
Anytime.
I have information about Javed that might be useful.
Even the smallest details sometimes are.
I saw his name in old files. He paid tuition at the sorcerer school in Barnard. He was expelled after taking an interest in dark magic. He stopped paying tuition, and that was the last trace of him in our system. You're dealing with a renegade, and a dangerous one at that.
あ、本屋おった。お前もっと早起きしろよ。
What do you want?
どれを読めばいいのかな。法医学。これはなんか関係ありそうやな。ニュークリックで読む。検証を開始する前に我々は遺体に発見するどんな痕跡をも解釈する手助けとなるようできるだけの情報を集めなければならない。被害者の身元と遺体がどこで発見されたかは特に重要である。目撃者に質問し、必要とあれば専門家に意見を求めるべきである。注意深く実施された検視は被害者と会話するのと同じくらい多くの情報を得ることができる。被害者の死亡時刻、その状況、そしてその後遺体に何が起こったか等である。どんなものであろうと殺害に使うことはできるが、傷口を見れば凶器の種類も明らかである。検視は遺体という書物をメスで開いて読んでいるようなものなんだ。詳細に調べ、慎重なあらゆる仮説を検証する者は誰でもそれを理解している。売却。一応関係者みんなに会うか。まっすぐ行ってヴィンセント。
What is it, Witcher?
そういや、この選択肢前見たような気がするな。
You ever do autopsies?
What for? Punctured stomachs mean gang warfare. Torn off heads mean beasts. And black tongues mean poison. The first case, we pressure ram's meat. The second, we pass on to the Order or a Witcher. The third, we go to the victim's wife. The culprit 90% of the time. Autopsies are a waste of time.
被害者の妻です。もう一回墓場に行ってみようか。なあ、犬か。あ、誰かおる。やった、やったや。
What'll it be? Pine or oak, perhaps? An entire crypt? Let's see. 5 L's
あ
wide.
んた自体がゾンビみたいやんか。
I don't need a coffin. I don't intend to die anytime soon.
Makes sense. Maybe we can do business.
What business?
A partnership. With those swords, you doubtless lop off a few heads occasionally. When you dispatch another soul, let me know, and you'll earn a share from the coffin.
Stop fooling. I need something else.
What do you need?
まあ、担当直入
Could
に。
you hand over the prisoner's body for an autopsy?
For a bottle of dwarven liquor.
ドワーフ製の蒸留酒。あった。これ蒸留酒なんかな。
Nothing like a good drink.
About the prisoner.
Where you want the body dumped?
At the hospital.
It'll be there by evening.
Farewell.
真夜中に病院へ行き、もう準備できたん
Why is the cemetery shut?
Because the dead refuse to rest in peace. Fear not, they stay in their graves in sunlight. Someone should tend to them, though. Perhaps someone will offer a reward, but for now, no one seems bothered.
Tell me something else.
What do you need?
You seem to know a lot about the deaths in the city. Ever help with investigations?
Sometimes I inform Raymond about the more interesting dead men.
面白い死人って。レイモンド怪しいの
I don't trust Raymond. He's hiding something.
Raymond? You wouldn't find a more loyal man.
He seems to be struggling with this case. I should help. Will you let me inside the cemetery?
City authorities prohibited it.
How can I change your mind?
I'd need Captain Mice's permission.
No other way to sway you?
Actually, I've a terrible debt with Toller. Clear those debts, the cemetery key's yours.
いや、墓に入っても意味ないんやろ
A prisoner died recently. Is he in the cemetery already?
Don't know. You can have another body. They all reek the same.
I'm after a specific corpse.
Particular. Come back when you know what you want. Examining remains is an art. Always worthwhile to look deeper. But who does that concern?
そういえばさっきなんか死体を持っていてくれるっていうのは特定の死体じゃないんかなシャニと話せと言われたな病院やな次真夜中に病院あったあった合いびきやな
Ready for the autopsy?
Let's get started.
Race, human. Gender, male. Wounds, extensive.
Shani, this isn't a lecture hall.
Whatever you say. He died yesterday, torn to pieces.
もうちょっと経ってなかったっけ
Could a human have inflicted these wounds?
Only with a 2-foot jaw.
The bone marrow has been sucked out. Must be scavengers.
Very likely. Plenty around the cemetery.
So, he was torn to pieces after he died. I'm interested in the cause of death.
I also see some stab wounds. A blade 2 fingers wide.
External signs aren't everything. His neck muscles and palms look tense. How do you know when he died?
Normally I base it on muscle stiffness and dehydration, but rigor mortis is persisting for too long.
They say successful autopsies are based on curiosity. Should we look?
Let's check his internal organs. The symptoms are peculiar, and the cause of death, too.
Those wounds are too obvious. I suspect something more. Poison?
If so, a rare sort. Perhaps an alchemist's brew.
Kalkstein?
Ah! Liver's completely cirrhotic. It was obviously a potent poison. This stinks of alchemy.
Any way to confirm that?
Yes, alchemist's poisons usually cause certain characteristic changes.
Then let's check for those.
結構細かくやんねんな
Look, the tongue was crudely extracted, but not all the blackened tissue was removed.
Blackened?
Yes, the poison caused necrosis of the tongue, so the murderer removed it.
So we're certain a gifted alchemist is the murderer.
A gifted alchemist who's a crappy surgeon.
Kalkstein. He wanted to implicate the bandits, but he failed to foresee a professional autopsy. Thanks, Shani. That's the evidence I needed.
Good. I'm exhausted.
これでもう証明されたんや か平泉聖が女。